started here in a sec, so if anyone's still outside, come on in and find a seat. Just waiting on the most important people of the day.
Touch of class from a world-class star!
There's a shot to score!
35th edition of the Cascadia rivalry.
These are big games for the players. It's a new rivalry. Only the 5th meeting.
A brilliant ball through for Ricketts!
15-year-old getting her first some who made today happen. First and foremost, in addition to all the people behind the scenes, and it actually isn't all that many people, as many of you know, we're a small but mighty team, and it's part of what gives us so much pride in what we're building. But I have to start by acknowledging Endeavor and Hillary Mandel and Andrew Dempsey, who have, they deserve a round of applause, who have worked tirelessly alongside me and many others at the league office to ensure that this league capitalizes on this moment in time. So thank you for everything you've done to make this a reality that we've been working on, I think, since my first day in the role. Second, I also want to acknowledge David Nathanson, who's in the room, who has been part of our working group from day one with all of his incredible experience from Fox and all of the other leagues. He asked me not to mention him, but I did it anyway because he is one of those people who does all the right things in all the right places at all the right times. So thank you. And finally, what we're here to talk about. This moment is a celebration of how far we've come, but most importantly, where we're heading. This is the beginning of our future. We are here to celebrate a historic announcement that is represented here with these incredible premier media partners. We are going to, for 2024 and the following seasons, 4 seasons, we are going to be partnering with CBS Sports, ESPN, Amazon Prime Video, and Scripps on ION to bring forward the opportunity to have 4 times the distribution in national broadcast windows. This season, we were at 30. We will be at 118 games that are broadly viewable and accessible to fans, current and future. And we are super proud that we have also been able to achieve a historic and record-breaking investment in any women's sport historically and globally, with a 40 times increase in the collective investment that's being made in the future of the NWSL. What this means is that these partners here believe in our future, they believe in our players, they believe in what we can be, and we are resetting the standards by which women's sports can be valued. And we're so excited to continue to demonstrate the proof of concept that we have seen become true in these last couple of years. Finally, I just want to acknowledge that we couldn't have got here without each of these individuals and many people around them who made this a reality. These moments are an opportunity to celebrate and reflect, but most importantly, it's the people, the quality of the people who get things done and work behind the scenes to achieve a common goal. And we know that beginning next season, our sport is going to be in the places and spaces where people consume live content. And because of that, we're going to be able to reset the future of the NWSL. Thank you all for being here. And I'd like to introduce Sean McManus.
Thank you, Jessica, and thanks everyone for being here today. I've been involved in a lot of media announcements and press conferences, but I've never been at one where there are 4 major media companies making an announcement on one property, that property obviously being the NWSL. But to have CBS and the broadcast capabilities we have, to have ESPN, to have Amazon, and to have Scripps on ION is remarkable. It is becoming increasingly more difficult to reach consumers, as we all know. And if you're going to be a successful league, you've got to be able to reach them on over-the-air broadcast television, on linear cable television, on direct-to-consumer free and subscription video, syndication, streaming. You need to have all these platforms, and I give Jessica and her team an amazing amount of credit for figuring out how to make sure that we reach every single different platform. So that's number one. Number two, we at CBS Sports are really dedicated to women's sports programming generally, and specifically the NWSL. I went to a lunch with Jessica and her team and some of our team, with Dan Weinberg, who's here today, and Billy Stone, and Jen Sabatel, before you were even in your office. You didn't have an office at the NWSL, but I wanted to plant our flag and say to Jessica, we are all in on NWSL. We're all in on the power of broadcast television. We're all in on primetime exposure. Pleased to announce that we will be doing for the next 4 years the championship game in prime time on CBS, which is, in today's marketplace, a really big deal. I mean, when I went to sell the concept of doing this to my boss, George Cheeks, he bought in entirely. He said, I'll commit to 4 years. I like the product. I like the image. I like the branding. So he's all in also. We're going to use all of our assets at not just CBS, but at Paramount, to grow women's soccer and grow the NWSL. We're going to do it, obviously, as you know, on broadcast television. We're going to do it on Paramount Plus. We're going to do it on the Galazzo Network, which is the only 24-hour-a-day live free streaming network devoted only to the sport of soccer. We're going to do it on all of our social media platforms and all of our other digital platforms. We like to think that we've become the network of record for soccer with all the different programming that we're doing, and this fits right into what our strategy is to grow the sport and to grow the league. So we are absolutely thrilled about this. I'm glad that lunch paid off so long ago. You know, we've got commitments at CBS to WNBA and LPGA, women's college basketball, which we do a lot of. And the NWSL is the shining star and the premier property that we have when you look at the commitment we have to women's sports. So we're thrilled, we're pumped up. We're going to make sure, along with these other partners, that this league keeps getting more and more exposure, more and more promotion, more and more branding, and we grow the sport and we grow this league. So I want to thank Jessica and her team. They have been great to deal with. We've had this relationship for a number of years now. We've worked as one team when it comes to furthering the goals which we have, and they're the same as the ones that the league has, to further promote, as I said, and the further brand this great league. So with that, I will toss it over to Roz and just tell everybody that this is a big day for us, and I'm happy to be here, really am. Roz?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's great seeing so many faces in person. I will tell you that it is an absolute honor for us to be here to announce our partnership and commitment to the NWSL. This agreement speaks to our commitment, one, to elite sports and elite leagues and competition, and further cements our commitment to elevating women's sports. We have been investing in women's sports since the earliest days of ESPN, whether it is regular season women's college sports, the NCAA women's basketball tournament, the WNBA, the Women's College World Series, professional women's tennis, and more. And the idea of adding the NWSL to that mix is incredible to us. This league is strong. Let's just say that. This league is strong. And we sincerely believe that under the leadership of Commissioner Berman, it is positioned for continued growth. You heard her speak of the record attendance. That's tremendous. We look at the franchise expansion, the increase in fan engagement, the increase in viewership. All of those are markings of an ascendant league. And we know that this is an ascendant league that is under the right leadership. I mean, we too look forward to using all of our networks, using our various platforms to showcase the tremendous athleticism, tell the stories. We are grateful and want to thank Commissioner Berman, one, for her partnership. It's been tremendous, and her trust in us. Also want to thank Hillary and Andrew and their team for helping us get to this point, and I really want to celebrate all of the media partners that are represented here for a shared commitment to this league and growing NWSL together. So thank you, and thank all of you. I'll toss to Marie, Amazon.
Thanks, guys. So I'm thrilled to be here for many reasons. I'm particularly excited to be on the stage because Jess and I literally signed the deal, docu-signed the deal at 12:29, walking onto the stage. So I'm thrilled to be here. I first want to echo what Sean and Roz said about the incredible trust Jess has put in us. We've been talking about this for a few years. In addition to the amazing team at the NWSL and at WME Endeavor, I need to, unless they've gone home to take a nap, Charlie Neiman and Steve Carey, partners, and we are collectively going to grow this league, continue its incredible growth. Women's sports, and especially women's soccer, are at an inflection point. There's incredible demand, and we have an opportunity to meet and grow that demand. And at Prime Video, we think we're particularly well positioned to grow that demand among the young, harder to reach young demographic. So we're excited to focus on those with you. Across Amazon, we are committed to drive all of the assets of Amazon and Prime Video, our unique power and reach, to really focus on this exclusive Friday night package we have, which we think will make a huge difference. Over 25 matches on Friday night, and we're particularly excited to bring that incredible top-class competition to our Prime members. Finally, we know that soccer fans are already familiar with streaming. They already know how to access their sports on streaming, and we think the fact that we are going to do our own production and use our best-in-breed CX and optionality and the things we've shown through Thursday Night Football and obviously all the soccer we do in Europe. We're really, really excited to bring that all to the NWSL and most importantly, their fans. And we can't wait to get going. And most importantly, their fans. And we can't wait to get going.
Thanks, Marie.
I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks. First of all, thank you. Thanks very much, and it's an honor for us to be here today. Just incredibly proud to be up here with these brands, taking part in what is a really transformational media rights deal for the NWSL, and frankly, I think a very significant step forward for gender equity in the business of sport. We really appreciated through the entire process how much the folks at the NWSL have put the fan first and thought about making sure that they could reach with their games all of the fans across this nation, and that's really the Scripps advantage, the Scripps difference. We're going to really put everything we can behind growing that national fan base by providing a doubleheader with appointment viewing every Saturday night through the entire season for the NWSL on ION. And we think that that level of consistency, we know that level of consistency, that level of distribution, where ION is available ubiquitously on every platform, over the air, on paid TV, and on connected TV, will really help grow that national fan base. Finally, I just want to congratulate you, Commissioner Berman, and the team with the NWSL. Really appreciate the work of the folks at Endeavor, and obviously thank my team, Brian Lawler, Rob Temple, Scott Guglielmino, and Jason Combs back in Cincinnati. This is a tremendous day for us, and we're really, really excited to be here partnering with these folks on really a transformational moment for the NWSL.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. At this time, we will open it up for questions. Please raise your hand.
Time is so widely distributed, and clearly younger fans are used to streaming. And so we actually commend Jessica for hitting all these platforms, because I think you actually will reach more varied fans and be more available in the end.
We'll go, Claire, you have a question? Right in the middle.
Thank you all for your time. Claire Watkins, Just Women's Sports. Obviously, in the last deal, production itself was localized with the use of Vista Productions. I was curious if that's going to be split up amongst partners now, and what the expectation is for, with this investment, how that's going to be put into the production value.
Yeah, it's a great question, and embedded within the ethos of our strategy from day one was that we were going to leverage the harnessing of the collective investment to ensure that we level up production. And so we'll be doubling the number of cameras for all of our matches with consistency across every single game and every single platform, so that our fans can have a consistent viewing experience. And as importantly, because those television broadcast streams also feed all of our officiating for VAR, that entire investment will be able to be leveled up as well. So we're really proud of how we're leveraging this collective investment to be able to up-level all of the production qualities, so that our fans, whether you're in stadium or watching from anywhere and everywhere, can experience the greatness of our athleticism, of the athleticism of our athletes on the pitch.
Meg, Claire, you do.
Hi, Meg Linehan, The Athletic. I know that the press release addresses some of the Spanish language content, but I was really hoping that you could expand on that, as I think it is still kind of an underserved market for the NWSL.
Yeah, it's something we're actually thinking a lot about, and thinking about it in the ways in which we speak to fans, both from a language perspective, but also from a cultural perspective. And we have some things we're working on that are to come in the future that I think will specifically be responsive to that. But it's definitely something we're focused on. We know that our country is going to be majority minority, and that the Hispanic population in this country is the fastest growing demographic, and we're acutely and keenly focused on ways in which we can engage that audience.
We're going to take a couple from Zoom. First, we'll go Jason Anderson.
Oh, sorry, I think Claire and Meg just asked my question, so I will step aside.
They got you. Thanks, Jason. All right, we'll go Jonathan Tannenwald.
Thank you, Kirsten. Hello, everybody. Jonathan Tannenwald, the Philadelphia Inquirer here. One for Rosalind and one for Jessica. Rosalind, when it comes to ESPN's participation in this, obviously it's a big piece of the puzzle with ESPN's overall women's sports picture. I wonder also where you see it in ESPN's soccer picture, because when ESPN and MLS went their separate ways last year, a lot of people wondered what would ensue with the network, and I wonder where you'd place that. And then, Commissioner, for you, I was wondering if you'd say a little more about what the direct-to-consumer product for the games not in this package will look like.
I'll just mention, thank you for the question. Was it Jonathan? Jonathan. Thank you for the question, Jonathan. We are very selective in the deals that we choose to do and the partnerships that we bring on board. We chose this partnership with NWSL because it is important to us at ESPN. It is an important part of our women's sports strategy. It is an important way that we will serve our soccer fans moving forward, and fans of good competition. We believe, again, that this is a strong league with athletes who deserve more visibility, as they will have across the various partnerships. So this is done because we believe in it. We believe in how it fits and how it's going to allow us to better serve the soccer fan across our platforms.
Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for being with us. So, as you all know from the press release, the games that are not part of our national broadcast package with these 4 incredible partners will be available on a direct-to-consumer platform that is owned and operated by the league. Importantly, that will act as a safety net to ensure that our games are widely accessible and viewable for our fans, and it also provides the opportunity, while we are in this transformative growth stage of the league, for our local clubs to have local broadcast deals, which was also important to us. We really do feel that we've been able to achieve the trifecta of the goals of our media rights deal, which were always reach, relevance, and revenue, as we've talked about over the last 12 to 18 months. And in particular, as we think about reach and relevance, it isn't just from a national perspective. Our clubs drive ticket sales through their local marketing partnerships with local news and local broadcasts, and this offers an opportunity for our clubs to be able to continue to build their local fandom. And we know that attendance is the rocket fuel that drives all of the rest of our business and creates the excitement that allows for a show on TV to be compelling and exciting to watch. And so for all those reasons, we're excited that we have those games to be able to co-partner with our local teams to the extent they do local broadcast deals. And I think this year was the first year that all of our teams had local deals in place.
Thank you. We will go to Howard Megdal, the voice of God.
Thank you so much. Howard Megdal from The Nine and Forbes. One for each of you, Jessica and Rosalind. Jessica, to start, congratulations, obviously. When you look at the trajectory of the league and revenues and everything from TV rights to even, the values of the teams themselves, I'm wondering how you arrived at 4 years as sort of the optimal splitting the difference between making sure you're capturing what we've seen and seeing where things are going.
Yeah, thanks for that. It was actually a very carefully tailored strategy, considering a whole bunch of externalities, many of which are not in our control. We knew it had to be long enough that we'd be able to build the proof points that are going to be necessary for our next right cycle and ensure that we have all of the proof of concept that we need to validate all the things that we know will be true. But we also knew that there was an upcoming World Cup, Women's World Cup in 2027 that is going to create an incredible amount of momentum, to be determined where those games are going to be played. Certainly, I think it's been reported that the U.S. is bidding for that, and of course that would be game-changing for our country and for our league. And we wanted to ensure whether or not it is here on our soil that we have the opportunity to build on the momentum that creates. We also know that although it's the Men's World Cup, that in 2026, the excitement around soccer is going to be right here in front of us, with tens of millions of global fans coming to this country and being able to experience and see the best league in the world for women's soccer. And so that was really how we landed on the 4 years, wanting to be long enough that we had within the term those key moments that we think are going to be game changers for women's soccer and the U.S. soccer ecosystem, but short enough that we're really betting on ourselves because we believe these next 4 years are going to be transformative.
Sure, makes sense. I appreciate it. And Rosalind, it's sort of a similar question in terms of timeline. Jonathan touched on it a little bit. You have WNBA rights coming up in 2025. There is obviously women's college basketball next year. Wondering if you've had any conversations with either the NCAA or the WNBA about, let's say, early locking in, trying to get ahead of what seems to be a curve that going up fairly dramatically, and what your level of concern is at this point that the price point may be beyond ESPN's ability to pay by 2025.
Thank you for the question. It is an excellent question. For today, we're focused on NWSL, and we want to celebrate them, and happy to address the other leagues at a different time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a few more here. We will go to Alex Ozzie on Zoom.
Thank you so much. Jessica, I have a clarification question and then another question. First, the clarification to Claire's question in the room. Can you just confirm, is the NWSL still footing the production costs for all of these games going forward?
Yeah, I think the valuation and the investment in the collective is contemplated within how we're going to be reinvesting not just in broadcast production, but also in our players, in our social media, and in all of the infrastructure at the league.
Okay, and then was wondering if, given the value of this new rights deal, players can expect that the minimum salary in the league, I think $37,000 next year, will go up prior to the conclusion of the current CBA.
Well, I think most people know from the last 18 months, as a labor lawyer, I feel strongly in the open and transparent and very important empowerment relationship with our player association, and all collective bargaining agreements, although they have a number of years that they exist within, and we have 3 years left on our deal, we keep lines of communication with Megan Burke and the union open to be able to ensure that all of our needs are collectively being met. And so we will see how things unfold in the short, medium, long term. But those lines of communication are always open between us and the union to the extent there are issues or challenges or opportunities to address.
Thanks, Alex. Henry Bushnell.
Yep, thanks, Kirsten. Question for Jessica, actually, just to follow up on Alex's question there. Like, as you went through these negotiations and got close to finalizing them, have you already discussed with the board, the PA, others around the league, like what impact this could have on spending limits, salary cap, things like that?
We have been and will continue to, of course, analyze all of the investment strategies that will build the future of this league. This media deal is one very important component of that, as are our many sponsorship conversations and other sources of revenue, all of which holistically will drive our investment strategies for the future, both for the league and our media platforms and broadcast social media, as well as directly with players.
Thanks, Henry. All right, 2 more. We'll go Donald Wyme.
Thank you all for your time today. I think the question that I have for you is, with fans trying to figure out where games are being played, what platforms, what channels, that's obviously been a pain point that's not just something that the NWSL has to worry about, but also other leagues. How do you help, step up the marketing so that people know what platforms are going to be holding which games so that frustration is at a minimum?
Yeah, thanks for that. I have three thoughts in response to that. The first is, I don't know of a time where you've ever seen 4 partners sit together on a stage and talk about not only their own owned and operated platforms, but each other's. So I would like to think that that sends a very strong message to the marketplace and to our fans that we are in a 5-way partnership here. We are committed collectively to ensuring that this creates the opportunity that this league deserves to be in front of fans and make sure our fans know where to watch. The second is that we believe, as we kick off the weekend, every single weekend with Amazon Prime, and because of that collective commitment to drive tune-in across all platforms, whether or not it's on their own institutional platform, that we will create a cadence of communication that allows for fans to know where they can go to watch. The third is that we have our ace in the hole, Julie Haddon, who is our Chief Marketing and Commercial Officer, who did this exact scope of work when she was at the NFL. And that leads me to my final point, which is that all premier properties in today's day and age have multiple partners. This is an unfortunate reality for the consumer and the fan. Taking off my NWSL commissioner hat for a minute, I have 2 kids at home, and there is no sporting event that we go to watch without checking on the internet to see where it's going to be broadcast. There is no assumption in today's marketplace that I know if I want to watch X property, I go to X channel. It's just not the case anymore. It would be nice if it could be, but I think those days are long gone. And so the best we could do is acknowledge the current reality, which is that everything is everywhere, and put together a cohort of premier partners who are jointly committed to ensuring our fans have the right tools to find us and are educated about how to navigate and make sure that our fans can see us and watch us in the places and spaces where sports can be consumed.
Thanks, Jessica. We will go to Paul Edstrom on Zoom, and then Jeff's going to slide one more in the room.
Thank you. My question is, how is it going to be possible to watch NWSL games in Europe in the future?
Thanks for the question. You'll have to come back to a future Zoom to get the answer. You could imagine that getting these 4 deals done for today in advance of our championship, which I promised to everybody externally that we would have this done before our season concludes, was a Herculean task. You heard Marie share some of how the sausage gets made, and that we literally signed the deal right back there 1 minute before we walked out here. So our next order of business, now that we have our domestic rights sorted, is to figure out our international rights. And it is a huge priority for us, knowing that there is a global audience from a business perspective in this global game, but also that there's a global talent pool, and we want to ensure that players and national team coaches, sporting staff know that the NWSL is the best league in the world. And in order for them to know that and trust that, they need to be able to watch our games. So we're extremely committed to continuing to work with Endeavor to put forward a really compelling international package that ensures that fans everywhere, not just domestically, can find our games and watch our games.
Great. Thank you for that. Looking forward.
Thanks, Paul. Last but not least, Jeff.
Take that intro. Jeff Kassouf with ESPN. Just want to ask you, the playoffs expansion was mentioned in this release, Jessica. Was that driven at all by creating an additional TV asset? And how do you sort of view 8 of 14 teams affecting maybe the value of the regular season, which the past 2 years has been, quite a dramatic finish? And can you share any details of, is that a 1 through 8, 1 versus 8? Is it a straightforward format?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It really just sort of happened that with expansion, and really wasn't, maybe it should have been, but wasn't really driven by media considerations. It was driven by the fact that we were expanding by 2 teams. We believe that our playoffs and our regular season are extremely compelling, and there was an opportunity to provide more teams with an opportunity to compete. If you look at Decision Day, which was the last day of our regular season on October 15, I believe there were something like, you probably know this better than me, 732 possible outcomes that could have happened on that day. Every game mattered, which tells you that there's more room for competition, and that probably some of the teams who got eliminated maybe could have continued to compete. And because of that, and because there's incredible parity and competitive balance across our league, there's an opportunity to showcase more playoff games, which we know are premier content for our fans, and opportunities to drive connectivity with their local communities. It also happened to be that created more assets for our media partners, but that wasn't the driver for why we created that.
Okay, everyone gets hand shy until I start saying final question. So we'll go with Dan Laletta, and then we're done.
Thanks. Dan Laletta from Equalizer. Big thing for NWSL fans, and I guess media too, is the ability to access replays of matches and/or possibly join matches in progress, but watch them from the start. So I'm just curious, with so many different platforms now, how will replays be accessible, and will there be, I guess for lack of a better expression, DVR capabilities on the live streams?
Yeah, it's a great question. Certainly with some of our partners, because they have in-house institutional capabilities for VOD, We'll work together to make sure that our games are accessible, and with our D2C platform that will be owned and operated by us, when the appropriate time windows have expired, there'll be an opportunity to go back and watch, and we can create an NWSL media type of platform that allows for fans to know that as the days and weeks and years pass, if they really want to rewatch a game, which we know fans really do, that they'll be able to do that through the NWSL.
All right. Well, again, obviously want to thank all of our partners for being here today. Thanks for everyone joining us live, virtually. Obviously, the day is not done. This is just the beginning of our 2023 Championship Media Day. We will have both teams coming through here later today. OL Reign will come in around 2, and then we'll have Gotham FC starting around 4. That will all happen out in the main area. There is media workspace behind the black curtain over here, and then there's food. Obviously, help yourself, and we're excited to continue the week. Thanks, everyone.
Good job. Well done.
I can show you love.